Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. Last week I had finished my in-depth series on the Worlds of Cult Divinity Lost. This week I am going to begin a new intermittent series. What I'm going to be doing in this, the Tales from the Archives, is I'm going to be telling stories of games I have run. These might be illustrating a specific GMing point, or these might just be going, hey, this is the sort of thing that happens in this game. This is meant to be a sporadic series. I'm going to put one of these videos between each of my in-depth series. First off as a spacer, but also to give me a little bit of time on those so I can prepare for the next in-depth series. So, this week I'm going to be talking about the fall of the Tortoise Clan in my Legend of the Five Rings campaign. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about this. So before we start, let me just say, if you like this video, please click like or subscribe down below. Leave in comments, tell me what you like, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see me talk about more of in the future. Always open for suggestions. With that said, let's get right on into this, shall we? Before we start the actual discussion of the story, I need to kind of go over the situation. This was the second of my Winter Court games. This game is set just before the events in that were the canon end of the old Legend of the Five Rings storyline. Actually, about a year before those. Player actions from the previous Winter Court had caused the Empress Uweko I to decide to be holding her Winter Courts in the courts of the minor clans as a punishment to the great clans for a number of various events. Those I'll probably talk about in a future video. But in this case, it was held in the lands of the Bat Clan. A small island, the furthest south island in the Empire, before heading to the colonies. And the players were a group of magistrates. Specifically, they were with the advanced team for the Sepun Guardsmen, who sets up and prepares a Winter Court for the Empress's arrival. They had just finished dealing with a Kansen, a blood spirit. That was a really nasty thing. Again, I'll probably talk about that in another video sometime down the line. But the political situation with the Tortoise player, he had a bitter betrothal. This betrothal was to a Shugenja from the Phoenix clan. Basically, the Shugenja was a case of the Phoenix wanted her away from them. She had a very strong affinity to the Fire Kami. And the Fire Kami really liked her. And if she started getting upset, the Fire Kami would react to her. So, it was a case of they wanted her away from all their books. They didn't want fires spontaneously starting in their libraries again. Now, she made Hanabi, the approved fireworks from the Empire. Now, one of the greatest secrets of the Phoenix Clan is that the manufacture of Hanabi, the manufacture of the explosives and all that for fireworks, actually is derived from the practices of making gaijin pepper, gunpowder. They've kept that hidden, and they talk about around it all the time to kind of conceal what they're actually doing. And generally speaking, if this secret actually got out, it could cause a lot of trouble for the Phoenix Clan. And our tortoise's wife wanted her last act as a phoenix before her marriage to be making the fireworks display to celebrate the arrival of the Empress. And so she gave her betrothed a shopping list. This was all the specific stuff she needed to make this and make the fireworks for this display. Yes, she put extra stuff on there. Now, our tortoise went out like the dutiful future husband to get all the stuff. And all of this came to the attention of a dragon Shugenja of the Tamori family. Now, the Tamori are alchemists. So, this alchemist was like, why is this tortoise going out after all this stuff? Hey, let me just see what I can wheedle out of him for this. And so, this Tamori, who our Kasuga had owed a favor to anyway, asked what seemed like totally innocuous, "Can I have a copy of your shopping list?" "Well, of course," says our Kasuga. "Anything for a friend." And he copied it. And the Tamori looked it over and figured out what was going on. And brought it to their champion's attention. Well, in this case, their family daimyo's attention. Their family daimyo quietly went over to talk to the Phoenix, going, "Hey, this kind of fell into our hands. What can you tell us about this?" And the Phoenix immediately wanted to know where they got it from. And they pointed to our little Kasuga friend. And the situation began to get tense between the dragon and the phoenix. But it got even more tense between the phoenix and the tortoise. Now, the tortoise are a minor clan, so a great clan cannot go to war against a minor clan. But they can petition for redress of grievances from a minor clan. Now, the tortoise, you have to understand, serve a very specific purpose, like all of the minor clans. What the tortoise are is they are the emperor's smugglers. See, way back there was this big epic battle between Gaijin and Rokugani. And it ended up with Gaijin being officially banned from Rokugan. And the goods that they had brought were considered contraband. But at the same time, like with anything illegal, there's always going to be a demand for it. So the Emperor created the Tortoise Clan with the purpose of monitoring and making sure the smuggling of Gaijin goods into the Empire was regulated at a rate that would be acceptable. Okay, so understanding that the tortoise have their own secrets, because only the Emperor knows what the actual purpose of the Tortoise Clan is. Only the Emperor knows what they were actually created to do. What they officially do is they act as the voice of the minor clans in courts, because their school is a courtier school. And they do investigations into smuggling. Because what better way to conceal that you're the actual smugglers and to keep your own monopoly on smuggling than to be investigating other smugglers. But before all this happened, our young Kasuga had been involved in a few minor scandals. He had been manipulated into a rather public duel. He had events unfurl that humiliated him in front of court. And remember, though, because his acting as an agent for Seppun Guardsmen meant he was also acting as a representative of his clan. So everything he did reflected on his clan. And this controversy from the Phoenix finding out the dragon had gotten their hands on a shopping list for what was needed to do fireworks was the tortoise, not Kasuga Pierre, but the Tortoise Clan had given this information to the Dragon Clan, not one tortoise giving this information to one dragon as a return of a favor, but the tortoise gave this information to the dragon. So, tensions were high between the tortoise and the phoenix at this point. And then our Kasuga decided he was going to go to the Phoenix Embassy and demand an audience with the Phoenix champion to try and resolve the situation. And he would not leave until he got that audience. So, now here's where things get fun. So, he goes in and is standing there. The spider that had been manipulating him for a good portion of the game realizes, oh shit, something's wrong. This is bad. She didn't want him dead. She wanted him humiliated. She wanted him owing her. She didn't want him in any truly life-threatening situation. So, she sent a messenger. She grabbed a runner to get his wife, who was probably the only person who could have talked sense into him in character, at least, socially speaking. The messenger never made it. The messenger was actually killed by a background antagonist. So, that didn't happen. Instead, the mantis who had gotten him in trouble partially had seen this going on and had gotten the crane magistrate that was with the group, the PC crane, to come and deal with this. Now, the crane realized, oh crap, this could be bad because I had to duel him earlier due to a number of issues. So, to maintain face, he went and grabbed the Seppun, who was their acting daimyo in this, and the Emerald Magistrate, who was on the island. The three of them went to the Phoenix Embassy. And the Kasuga just stood there going, I will not leaving until I talk to the Phoenix champion. I want to fix this. And at this point, the Maho Tsukai that was behind the death of the messenger quietly, covertly used a very specific Maho spell on our Kasuga. This Maho spell, the purpose of it was to cause him to get angry and lash out at the closest person to him. And he monumentally failed the role to resist. The closest person to him was the Seppun Guardsman. And so our Kasuga drew on the Seppun Guardsman. And the PC Crane was left with no choice but to draw and strike on our Kasuga. And he one-shotted him. He managed to roll so well on both the strike and the damage that he didn't just take our Kasuga down to the down and out. He took him down to dead in one strike. In this case, he was not holding back because this guy was attacking his lord, basically. But the aftermath of this is what destroyed the Tortoise Clan. Because, remember, everything in the eyes of the court, in the eyes of the Empress, in the eyes of the other clans, that this Kasuga was doing was representing his clan. He struck out at a representative of the Empress. He caused bloodshed in the Phoenix Embassy during the Winter Court. This, by the way, was the second time in the Winter Court games where bloodshed occurred during the Winter Court. Something traditionally that doesn't happen. And so the Empress had to make a statement with this. Something to show, no, this sort of thing is not allowed in Winter Court. This should not happen. And so, the daimyo of the Kasuga family, the daimyo of the Tortoise Minor clan, and most of the lords, the high-ranking members, were granted permission to commit seppuku. The surviving members of the Tortoise clan were made part of the Phoenix clan, since the Phoenix clan had been wronged by the Kasuga's actions. Kasuga-san's wife was made the champion of the clan because she understood both the Phoenix and the Kasuga. She was the perfect person to act as the moderator, the mediator and in-betweener between the two, to help with the integration of this family into the great clan of the Phoenix. She has problems dealing with the shadier side of what the Kasuga do, but it was a very strong case that this had to happen. And going back going back, there were multiple times where our Kasuga player could have diverted things, but he kept digging himself in until when he stepped into the embassy to demand an audience with the Phoenix champion. That was the point where effectively the fate of his clan was sealed. Every little thing you do in Legend of the Five Rings has significance. And this was how one player killed a 300-year-old minor clan and made it part of one of the major clans, one of the great clans. And it was his own clan that he killed. So, with that, I have finished this story. Next week, I will begin my in-depth series talking about specific campaign worlds of Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. I am going to be opening up with the Al-Qadim setting. So, until next week, have fun and keep gaming.